Space is a magic trick. It might as well be a David Copperfield trick. Now, David Copperfield isn't going to run around teaching everybody how to do the trick, but it's also pretty well known that it's a magic trick. David Copperfield can't really disappear, okay? But what he can do is make it seem like he disappears and tricks a bunch of people into thinking that he disappears. He's a magician. Space, outer space, is not at all what they show us it is, which makes NASA and the other space agencies magicians. It's just not real. When you look up through your own equipment and you see what is actually going on, it's not even close to what they show you. It's funny. When you learn the littlest bit about outer space and what it's actually is, and when you can actually look up and tell yourself, oh, look, there's Altair, and there's Deneb, and there's Arcturus, and there's Vega, and you know the Summer Triangle, and you know where the North Star is, and you know that the North Star was actually discovered in 69 AD by Claudius Ptolemy, who... It's interesting character, really, when you dig into him. Not to mention that they don't really talk about all the astronomers back then that did not believe we were spinning on a ball. None of them did. Tycho Brahe, he was a brilliant man. They even named a moon crater after him, which obviously means that he was pretty important to people that matter. So I find it interesting, you know, when you do the really, not the littlest bit, but when you start really learning about what's happening above us, you know, it would be impossible for the world to be spinning and spiraling and endlessly traveling. It would be ridiculous. It just doesn't add up. You know, I mean, none of the theories do, which is why they're still theories. You know, evolution, theory. How can we be evolving if we're devolving? It's weird. How can we be evolving if we're not getting smarter? Isn't that weird? I mean, go ahead, buy a book from 100 years ago and no one, it's written, they're in English. Buy a book written in English from 100 years ago and I guarantee you 9 out of 10 people won't be able to read it. Because we're just not that smart, unfortunately. Our education is so watered down and fake that we don't learn anything. You have to learn on your own. It's unfortunate. But it is what it is. That's why I took the time to write a book, several of them, and put them on my website. And they're digital and they're $10, and they really explain a lot. One's on symbols. There's over 300-400 symbols. Everything you can think about each symbol. And then the other one is on ancient belief systems and where all these ideas of religion came from. Because they came from something. Christianity is not that old. So people are running around acting like it's the only answer. And I'm sorry, but there are many other religions, many other theologies. Christianity is based off of other stuff. That's how it works. So if you gotta really put yourself in the situation of being around thousands of years ago. You got to be able to put yourself in that situation and then start to learn the words and what they meant and the different deities they worshipped. They worshipped solar deities, so sun deities, you know, sun gods. The ancient Romans worshipped sun gods. Mithraism was a sun god. Sol Invictus was the sun god. Their helmets, with the spiky crap on the top, that is the sun. That's what that is. It's the sun. Because they worship Sol Invictus. Sol being sun, Victus being victory. Sun is victorious over what? The night. Because that's the oldest story ever. Day versus night. Star Wars, day versus night. Luke Skywalker, okay, Luke, Lucius, light in Latin. That's what Luce means. Luce, light. Lucius, light. Skywalker, obviously, he is... I mean, if you read my book, you'll really grasp this stuff. But all of the ancient deities were the sun in the sky. Luke, Lucius, light, Skywalker. He is the son of God versus who? Dark Vader. Dark. It's the ancient story of light versus dark. And it happens both in the sky and on the earth and in our bodies. And it's fascinating when you learn it. Unfortunately, though, a lot of these social media sites just shut you down when you start talking about it, because it's enlightening, and it'll wake you up. It'll snap you out of whatever coma we've been put in for the last, 7,500 years. But find me on my website, withthesun33.com. It's all on the info in my bio. I love you all. And, oh yeah, entertainment only. This is entertainment, my opinion. No reason for this to get taken off. It's my opinion and it's entertainment. That's all. Okay? I love you all.